when you sound German, you're easily and rapidly understood. You're not hindering the conversation because the pronunciation just rings right in their ears. It's just right in tune for what they listen for, the sounds that they're ready and expecting to hear, and thus meaning is translated very rapidly. Hey guys, welcome back to Sound German. I'd like to share some valuable information with you today about how this game works and what it actually is. To start with, it's a valuable tool. It's the most powerful tool or guide for learning a language. It's something you work with to get yourself to where you want to go in the language. With each game, you can continue to go over the material, and what you're actually learning to do is speak. You're not just learning to fill in the blanks, to copy and paste things, or to read, or even just to understand when you're listening to someone else speak. You're able to speak yourself. The one thing about speaking is that you can't do it just because you can write, and you can't do it just because you can listen. But if you can speak, it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to listen and to write or to fill in the blanks if that's what you need to do. It's something we do in life. We fill out forms all the time, but these workbooks where you fill in the blanks, it's really not the same. It doesn't get you the same practice. It definitely does not get you the pronunciation that you need to actually communicate efficiently. Just a slight accent or a mispronunciation of a word can really make it difficult to talk to someone. It can be really difficult. I know when I speak American English, it can be difficult for me to understand someone speaking British English, and they're pronouncing things correctly for their dialect, but it can be very difficult. And actually, it's the same situation in many German dialects, because High German or Hochdeutsch is a little bit different than Schwäbisch or Bayerisch. These different types of German are just like, well, it could be your accent, but you're the only person who speaks that dialect, and it's just not going to communicate very well to people who really, they want to understand you, but you do have to use the same sounds that they use. That's where Sound German comes in. It gives you such a great opportunity to copy over and over again the sounds that you need to make in order to sound German. And sounding German isn't just about, being cool. When you sound German, you're easily and rapidly understood. You're not hindering the conversation, not getting these, oh, sorry, what was that? One more time, please. What did you say? Because the pronunciation just rings right in their ears. It's just right in tune for what they listen for, the sounds that they're ready and expecting to hear, and thus meaning is translated very rapidly and efficiently, and people are surprised because you're actually communicating on the same level. As long as you know the word, you can say the word, because that's how you learn the word in the first place. Whereas you could know a word. I could know how a word is spelled without actually knowing how to pronounce it, especially with words that you already know from English, but you're trying to speak in German. So take the word cool. For Germany, the L isn't going to sound like L. That's how the American L sounds, but not the German L. So it's cool. It's cool. See? If you take a word like intensive, you know the word intensive. You even know how the German word intensive is spelled because it's so easy to recognize it. It's the same word, just without the E. But if you want to actually get understood, they'll figure out what you mean if you say intensive a few times. But if you just say intensiv, you have a little bit of a different flow on the word, and you have the different pronunciation, a slight different sound, a hard I, eve, instead of iv. Intensiv instead of intensive, and people snap, it just clicks in their head. It's the same if you're speaking to someone with a really strong dialect in your native language. It can be difficult to understand someone if they're not speaking exactly the same way as you. And the beauty of learning to speak first is that it's so easy to translate it to reading skill and writing skill and listening skill. Because if you can say it, you can recognize it when you hear it. That's the difference. And that's what Sound German's all about. Thanks for listening to me speak English this time, and we'll see you next time. Remember, you got to speak German to sound German. You have to sound German to be understood, or you could sound Swiss. But High German. And remember to play the game every day and hit pause when you need time to think yourself. Peace.